Good evening. Welcome to Mystic Matters. We are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. I'm Kristin Hartnett, the membership manager. I'm so thrilled to be here. So sad without Susette. Oh, Susette. We miss you. But we shall carry on. Yes, we shall. Thank you to Jessica Patterson for co-hosting last week. I'm sure you're going to see a little bit more of her this season. And also Angela McGurk, who is also a great co-host. Shout out to her. Some of the events that are happening at the Mystic Chamber of Commerce in just a few days. On the 18th, we have the Groton Business Networking event. That is a before hours event at Thames Valley Communication, co-hosted with JetPay, and that's our networking event. We talk about Groton issues. We have some speakers, Groton, the economic development and community development will be there to give a report. So if you're a Groton business or if you want to do business in Groton, then come and hang out with us then. And I'm thrilled. There's so much going on in this area for all ages, but I'm thrilled to have a special organization that is one of the new members of the Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to Mary Riley.
Thank you, Kristin.
For the Mystic Geriatrics Institute.
Yes, here for the Mystic Geriatrics Institute, which was formed 3 years ago.
And you are different from Mystic Geriatrics, which is like a home care type of thing, yes?
Yes.
This is an institute, a bigger organization. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is that you focus on, what you guys do?
Actually, the Mystic Geriatrics LLC medical concierge medical practice was spun off by Mystic Geriatrics Institute.
Oh.
When Dr. Feltus started it, we wanted it to be one and the same, but it had to be an LLC, and we wanted to remain a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. So that is why they're separate now. Okay. But we're very close, and we do support each other.
Excellent.
But the Mystic Geriatrics Institute was formed to help this area become a center of excellence for aging in place and successful aging, and have resources and programs that are of benefit to people who are 55 and older. Mm-hmm. It's not geriatrics in the sense of over 80. It's geriatrics in the larger, like pediatrics, geriatrics. Mm-hmm. We feel that there's a need for more information and also a greater understanding for our towns and businesses to be more aware of the challenges of an aging population.
Yes. Now, when you use the word geriatric, I have a friend who was pregnant at 37 or 38, and they said it was a geriatric
right.
pregnancy.
That's right.
So is there a definition for that? Is it over 80, or is it just like a Latin word for aging?
Well, it is, and so it is for an older than than the average.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure exactly the exact definition, but it's used in different ways. And in our language, it's used as meaning about over 75.
Okay.
But we're pretty young at 75 these days,
yes.
And we live to be, now, many of us over 100, mm-hmm. and we expect to. Mm-hmm. So that leaves us 25, 30 years, 40 years left, and we might as well do it with the gusto and good health and all of the wonderful things that life can bring.
So I just turned 51 this
Did you?
year. Yes. And I feel like my mom and I are the same age now. Like, I feel like when you check off the boxes, between 50 and 75, like we're all lumped into one little thing together.
It's true. Age is just a number. Mm-hmm. And some people are young at 90. Mm-hmm. Certainly over at Stone Ridge.
Right.
In Masonic area.
Yes.
You have a lot of very young-minded people. And then some people can act like an old person at 25. Mm-hmm. And, they don't really see the future, and they don't really embrace life, mm-hmm. that they're not really, they isolate themselves. So age is just a number. Mm-hmm. And successful, healthy aging is very important to our community. We need to have really good medical resources. We do, but they can always improve. We need to keep seniors, have programs for seniors so that they are always engaged and that there's opportunities for them to come together. And we want a multi-generational community where all the generations come together, keeping them, separate. Okay, everybody over 70 is going to be here, everybody under 70 is here, and then children are, multi-generational is really the healthiest way to come together.
So what are some of the focuses of Mystic Geriatrics Institute? Like, what makes your organization unique?
Well, our focus is to provide programs that, that address some of the needs of our seniors. For instance, legal, financial, medical, and we try to lump them all together in concerted programs that we offer, and looking at it in a holistic way. For instance, when you're over, when you're over 65, let's say, you're going to be faced with certain challenges, one of which is possibly a retirement, which forces you, in a way, to look at other things in your life. And you're no longer going to be earning the way you were before. So that puts a little bit of a stress on someone as they see their taxes go up. And so we look at that as something that the Institute really would like to address. We go so far as to look at the financial, making sure people are prepared for just about any occurrence in their life. We also are looking at, and this is very important to our board of trustees, as a nonprofit, we're looking at populations that are affected by poor planning. And one of them is poor planning by an elder parent who didn't really get long-term care insurance, who is using all their resources to have medical needs taken care of.
Well, it sneaks up on you, really, right? Like, all of a sudden you have to retire, and then...
Well, it's true.
Yeah. And
I'm 67, and I look at that and I go, I better, get two policies,
right?
Because I look at the expenses of, $10,000, $20,000 a month for a facility, memory care, or, long-term care, that, God forbid, I will never need it, but that, that we are planning ahead for that. Also, the legal side of it. On our board is Jean Cedia, and she's an elder law attorney, and she helps us to develop programs so that people become knowledgeable about how to structure their legal papers, so that when they go to a hospital, that they have everything all settled. And you can't wait till you have a stroke and then afterwards ask your family to come. So we want to reduce the stress of aging for both the person over, let's say, 65, and their families, which are trying to work, trying to raise children. They're sandwiched, we call it the sandwich generation. They're really the 50-year-olds who are taking care of their 75-year-old parents, or actually taking care of them in their homes, or visiting them a lot. They have tremendous responsibilities, and the stress level is and can affect their productivity. And it can actually go so far as to have them quit around their elder care, quit their jobs around elder care. And that is a whole another field. So
you're like a consultancy where this 50-year-old could come to, no?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
Not yet. What we do is we just provide programs of information.
Oh,
and
I see.
We're bringing people together. We want to have a certificate program for caregivers, so that for classes, so they can learn about, how to take care of an elder, and we want to have a place for them to come to kind of talk about it. And there's a lot going on. We're a new organization, and we're full of ideas.
Well, there seems to be a lot of education too that you're
Well, right now that is
on.
our focus, is education.
Now you have an event coming up.
We do.
That is full of education.
We do, yes.
And opportunities for learning about this. So why don't you tell us about the event?
Well, it's called the Seniors Strong Summit, and it's our 3rd year of putting this on, and we're very excited about this year. In fact, we don't know how we can top it next year. Every year it gets better and better.
Right.
Last year and the year before, We focused on a myriad of things the first year. The second year, we focused on legal and financial preparation, and for an aging workplace, or aging society. And we are this time focusing on maintaining health in a holistic manner. And the title is Forever Young, the 6 dimensions of wellness. And
6 dimensions.
6 dimensions.
Wow.
And the 6 dimensions are wellness, physical, fitness, and social. Let me see.
I know, because I would love to, because it seems
I don't want to leave anything out.
That they apply to everybody. You're saying holistic wellness.
Right.
That they would apply, and you were saying earlier, I could come to this because I'm aging, right? And so I want to be prepared.
Oh, I think it would be a wonderful thing for everyone to come at any age. But especially if you are approaching your 40s, actually, because that's when you start, you really...
Oh, yeah, that's what's happening. I'm approaching my 40s.
I'm only 39.
That's right.
I already spilled the beans about that.
See, we are the same age.
It depends.
Right.
I might be younger than you in spirit. I don't think so. You're way younger than me. Mental dimension, the brain fitness, the spiritual, social, and emotional dimension, and mindfulness, that's in one. And then the last one is prevention and ensuring longevity with vitality.
So a little proactive education.
We have incredible speakers. Dr. Richard Besdine is the keynote speaker. Fit at 50, sexy at 70, and nimble at 90.
Nice.
And apparently he's supposed to be a riot, and he's the rock star of the geriatrics world, and
Excellent.
He's a professor at the Brown University School of Medicine, and is quite the leader in the field.
What's his name again?
Richard Besdine. Dr.
Besdine.
Richard
Okay.
Besdine.
Okay.
Now, we have other incredible speakers as well. Jan Chamberlin, physical therapist. She has a very active, vibrant practice in Westerly and in Mystic. She is going to speak on physical fitness.
She's a member of the chamber. We had an event there, actually, a Business Before Hours, and she had us, stretching things out. And I had never known really what physical therapy was about because I never had to take it.
Yes.
But I was really impressed with what they were almost like doctors.
Oh, yes.
That they could actually, pinpoint and then heal with these exercises.
Yes.
And like cute little gadgets and stuff.
Well, she knows a lot about what to do and what not to do. And I think that learning a little bit when your joints are getting a little bit older, your calcium and everything is changing, that you need to, reach for the stars, but don't step in the mud.
Right, right.
The nutritional dimension, I forgot, and that's very important. Sarah Leathers is a certified health and wellness coach, and Fran Hoffman is the moderator for that. But Fran Hoffman, a lot of people know her in the area. She's also on our board as PhD in chemistry, and she's very interested in soils, health, the health of our soil, the growing of our vegetables, and the nutritional basis of our foods. And Sarah Leathers is a dynamic speaker as well. These are just breakout sessions. Dr. Besdine, though, is our keynote speaker at the very first opening session. And he is, really, I believe it's going to be very successful. I don't know, some people know the poet Melanie Greenhouse. Melanie has been working with people to get their stories into poetry. And she is just a beautiful soul. She is going to welcome us with a poem that she's written about vitality and renewal. And she's going to actually talk a little bit about what one person meant to her. This one person is Rick Petrocelli, and he was a resident at Stone Ridge. He's since passed away within the last 9 months ago. Rick Petrocelli had this vision of the Mystic Geriatrics Institute, and he felt that there was a lot of room for improvement in every community, but especially, and including ours, not especially, but he felt that Mystic and the surrounding areas, it was aging. The demographic was aging. What are we doing about that? How are we being proactive to make sure that we have a vibrant, healthy senior community? And he really also, from an economic development standpoint, felt that what we could do was to have these programs, this summit, and fill up hotel rooms. He was quite the entrepreneur. And I miss him dearly. He was just a wonderful man.
Well, keep people here too. It seems like that kind of vision, like to keep people here, like to instead of going to Florida.
Moving to Florida.
Yeah.
Well, taxation policies are really important. We focus a little bit on that to make sure that people who are on fixed incomes, or any income really, can predict what their taxes are going to be. And so they're not looking to, oh, I can make it for a year or two, but down the line, I don't know what they're going to do with my taxes. I think that many communities have very progressive tax policies that take away that kind of guesswork and give a sense of stability so people can stay in their homes. Having a Mystic Geriatrics LLC medical practice, it's a concierge practice, it's very low cost, but it works because the practice is a home-based practice. They have an office at Stone Ridge and an office at Masonic and an office in Quimbog Cove. But most of the work that they do is in the home of their patients because they're homebound. Instead of calling 911 and going through the whole cycle of emergency care, co-pays, ambulances, extended care, rehabilitation.
It's intimidating, and people sometimes don't even call 911 because of this whole, oh, I don't want to get involved.
Well,
I don't want to get people.
They should if they don't have that kind of care. But what we need for our elders, or you know, people over, let's say, 80, we need that option for people because their kids don't know what to do. They just say, call 911. What they're doing now with these patients, it's amazing. They're calling Dr. Feltes' office, and he gets there, or a nurse practitioner gets there within minutes, and determines whether 911 needs to be called. If 911 needs to be called, it's called. They talk to them on the phone, but it's an intervention that saves them a lot of time and effort and exposure to bugs in the hospital and everything else, and now, time and money.
That's something that people sign up for. As a membership, that they would pay for that.
Yeah, they pay
concierge
around
service.
$150, $75 a month. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's nominal compared to what you would pay if you were hospitalized.
Right.
And then go to rehab, and you have to pay co-pays. It's quite the savings in having that access. I have a friend I recommended it to, and her father and mother are on it, and the father passed away recently. But the last 6 months, she called me and she said, my dad it's just too much to take him to the hospital all the times. I've gone 3 times this year alone, and it's just terrible, and what they put him through. And what was this Mystic Geriatrics medical practice? And I told her about it and gave her the number. She called, well, he passed away 8 months later, 7 months later. But she came up to me at Christmas and she said, Mary, I just want to tell you how grateful I was, because immediately my father was better, and his quality of life was so enhanced by the home-based care. Blood was drawn at home, x-rays were taken at home, whatever we could get him, to get whatever could be done at home was done at home. And he had it was stress-free. And for me and my husband, it was stress-free. And my mother, who was living with him, and it just made all the difference. That
seems like quite an accomplishment. It does seem very visionary.
That's not the only story. There's so many stories.
Wow.
But, that's revolutionary. There are a couple of these around. I mean, every town has something like the concierge care, but for the home-based, this is a dream for us to apply for a grant that would have us explore working with Medicare or a Medicare Advantage program that would offer home-based care as an option. We would find that to be quite an accomplishment if our institute could pull that off in the next 5 years.
Now, I feel like doctors might be interested in this, that they would be, something that they would really, enjoy.
Yes.
This sounds like a commercial break happening.
Yeah.
So, how did you come to this position? And you're the spokesperson at this moment.
Oh, that's true. Well, that's kind of an interesting story. Dr. Feltus and Fran Hoffman called me one day and said, would you be interested in serving on this board? We're putting together an organization. I'd never met Dr. Petrocelli. I'd never met him, Rick Petrocelli. I told you about the gentleman who wanted to start it. And Kurt Lynch from Stonington. And we all came together. Oh, and Dr. Morin, Christopher Morin. We all came together, Gene Cedia, now Bob Lowell, and it's an interesting group, very dedicated. Oh my gosh, I am the one, I am the only one who probably doesn't have a doctorate, number one. And I'll tell you who they are. They're two board-certified geriatricians, Dr. Feltus and Dr. Morin. Dr. Morin was the chief internist and head of internal medicine at L&M Hospital, retired now. He works at the Seaport.
I was going to say, I know him from the Seaport.
Yes, from the Seaport. He is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Dr. Feltes was retired, and he decided to start this practice just out of the goodness, really, of his heart. Bob Lowell, who is our board secretary, is the former submarine commander and PhD in engineering.
My goodness.
Right. And boy, does he I shouldn't have said anything. Someone's going to steal him from us. He's an excellent secretary. And Gene Cedia is an elder law attorney. Let me make sure I've got everybody. And Kurt Lynch has a phenomenal business background and a good mind, and he's very creative. Worked as a consultant for many years with business.
What do they say about you? They say, well, Mary Riley, she's got an amazing background too, I happen to know.
I was a work-life consultant and mainly focused on child care and some elder care, working with companies to create a flexible workplace and institute policies that would enable their workers to become more productive.
And that sounds like important work. It sounds like something that changed over decades to become something that was important. Yeah,
nobody really recognized in our group the stress levels, how high they were, how they are for working children of elders and also working parents of young people. Those are proven now to be very important policies to attract the top people in very competitive environments, business environments.
So like men being able to take off for a baby being born, and then if you have an elderly parent, that you'd be able to take time off to take care of them, that kind of policy?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's just the beginning. I mean, there's so many creative policies. But basically, it's a philosophy that good parenting equals good employees. If you're good at that, you're going to be good at that. You're just a good worker,
right?
And you're responsible. And when employees and managers start to see that, and they give people latitude to take care of those things that need to be taken care of, and they're not punished for being good parents or, children of elders, that they are more likely to stay in their jobs, become more productive, and the retention rates they just soar.
So you are also a great addition to this wonderful board.
Well, I bring something to it, but thank you. But turnover is expensive. And what I used to say in the boardroom was, you have a policy you know, you don't have enough policies in place to retain people, and you don't have a philosophy that family comes first. And when you don't have that, you threaten, your productivity is threatened. You're also going to lose a very important employee to someone who does offer those policies. And for some of these competitive industries like software development companies, they've learned this early on in the 80s, and they've instituted it very well in the 90s. And now it's just, if they don't have it, they can't hang on to these employees. It could, they say it's between 75 and 150% of the annual salary to replace a good employee, or any employee, actually.
That's amazing.
So, it is. Oh, that's nothing.
Right.
Because if you lose a good software developer who is integral part of your organization, and he's creative or she is creative, and is you know, tremendously responsible for your what is your profit,
product, yeah,
your profit, you might lose the whole company,
right,
to a competitor.
Now, so Mystic Geriatric Institute, working hard with brilliant minds, it sounds like, to bring a quality of life to this community.
Yes.
With a focus on having a better older life, you know, and it does, like I said, sneak up on you. But if we're talking about the event again,
yes,
right before we. So when is the event?
The event is next Saturday, the 13th of April, at 8:30, and it ends at 1:30, and it's broken up into 5 sessions: a general session, 2 breakout sessions, luncheon, and then another breakout session. But we're out of there by 1:30.
Oh.
We pack a lot in a half day Saturday.
Now, in the morning, you said there's some kind of expo, like.
Yes, from 8 to throughout the whole thing, but from every break, we'll have the Senior Lifestyle Expo and Senior Lifestyle and Travel Expo, sorry. And we're having Rhodes Scholar come, and Seaview Travel, cruise planners, and a lot of health and fitness displays. And we're very excited about it this year.
I really feel like a lot of people are taking a lot of effort to make aging seem like something that's desirable, right?
It is.
It is. It absolutely is. And so,
tell that to someone who has a physical, you know, concern. But
right. Yes.
But it is. It can be, and it's all. It's a lot of it is attitude. And so we come from the place of, you know, let's make it fun, and we have, and we're always open to new suggestions. Now, something you should know is the lunchtime is going to be fantastic. It's a working lunch. It's a formal sit-down lunch,
okay,
3-course. But it's a working lunch after a period of time where we are going to have Steve Coates, who's the Director of Communication for Hartford Health, Southeast Connecticut, is going to come and give us a 5-minute presentation, or 10, on what's going to be built across from Stone Ridge.
Oh, really?
Yes, the health.
Dun, dun.
Yes, and then we're going to have a brainstorming session on what we'd like to see in our communities to support senior health.
Well, that sounds great. So be sure to visit the event, Senior Strong, and we are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome, Kristin.
We'll see you.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you on Saturday. Absolutely.
Okay.
Good night.